Greetings, Undying. Sector Lord Imo Luoku bowed respectfully. The huge warrior with the big axe on his back responded slightly before looking at Luofeng. Luofeng, the leader wants to meet you. Follow me? After which, a formless energy that couldn't be seen by the naked eye formed a large hand and carried Luofeng. The huge warrior brought Luofeng and swiftly headed towards the 9th level of the palace. This is the strength of an Undying? Luofeng felt the ripples of origin laws around him, flying through level after level. Every level of Tian Palace was incredibly vast and huge. Very quickly, this Undying brought Luofeng to the 9th level. This 9th level hall should be the biggest hall of all of the palace. Just like how the first level had a specific ship docking area, places to welcome people, with sector lords resting areas, and a special area to monitor Blood River World, and a place for the sector lords to train. In all, from the 1st to 8th level, every level was incredibly vast, but each had been organized extremely well. The 9th level, however, was a vast hall of endlessness. The entire 9th level hadn't been segregated at all. The length and width reached tens of thousands of km, and its height too was 10,000 km. It was so large that even Earth was able to fit into this hall. Tian Palace leader? As he landed in the 9th hall, Luofeng's gaze landed on the distant silhouette ahead. He was dressed in a silver long robe. It seemed as though his robe itself produced countless images. On it were gold engravings. However, with a blink of an eye, the robe was ultimately just a silver robe. Illusionary and mysterious, it was intoxicating. His reddish-brown long hair was let loose, standing there, gazing at the vast space outside Tian Palace. At this point, Luofeng even felt that he was even more vast than the space outside, even more majestic. Leader. The huge warrior bowed respectfully. Go on. A clear voice, like a wind blowing through a bamboo forest.
Yes.
The warrior became a beam of light and immediately left the 9th level. The light behind the stairs turned dark as the pathway behind seemed to close. He finally turned around. He had reddish-brown long hair, sparkling skin, black eyes, and an engraving on his forehead. Other than the engraving, his resemblance to an Earth human was uncanny. Even though he was taller than normal, however, before him, even the giants would feel as though they were facing an endless space and would be subdued and feel inferior. Luofeng. The voice seemed to resound within his ears and heart. Only then did Luofeng awaken. Even with my willpower, I was still unknowingly affected by him. It's too terrifying. Compared to the true governing powers of the universe, even with my strong willpower, there's still such a difference. If Luofeng's thoughts were known by the warriors of the universe, they'd all break out laughing. Standing before a pinnacle ancient being, who, through his countless years of training, the universe energy shaping, his willpower alone was at an unbelievable level. A universe-level little doll that had only lived for a few hundred years. And compared to the Tian Palace's leader, he alone was more than capable of keeping the intimidation on the beings of Blood River World. Luofeng greets the leader. Luofeng bowed respectfully. Your willpower is not bad. The leader nodded. It was almost like the entire land and skies were speaking. Your batch of geniuses are the most exceptional in the past 10,000 eras, because in your batch, there's Bolin, you, and Rongju. Luofeng was stunned by his words. Past 10,000 eras was essentially over 100 million years. Before you entered Blood River World, the Virtual Universe Company's management level had a contest over you and Bolin. The leader looked at Luofeng. The contest was about your sturdiness and character, and to see if you were fit for walking this path of the strong. Your high talents, and Bolin's pride, yet his unbelievable talent. However, your willpower far exceeds his. Back then some favored you, while others favored Bolin, and I favored you. The leader looked at Luofeng, his eyes smiling. Thank you, leader. Luofeng bowed. Your time here in Blood River World, according to your teacher, he said that you have comprehended the 35 wonders of the space laws? The leader looked at Luofeng. Did that happen?
Yes.
Luofeng replied frankly. Back when your teacher said that, immediately the numbers that favored you grew. The leader said, I too thought that you and Rongjun would have more hopes of becoming true absolute warriors in the universe humans. Rongjun and I? Luofeng was stunned. Just complimenting him alone was enough. Rongjun? From the leader's words, everybody was contesting between him and Bolin, but no one mentioned Rongjun at all. However, right now, be it the Heavenly Bridge or Fantasy Ocean, he and Bolin were far ahead. Rongjun? Luofeng was curious. If Bolin were to understand, he too would be your competitor. The leader looked at Luo Feng. As for Rongjun, if you're able to exceed Rongjun in this life, it would be an accomplishment. What? Luo Feng stared wide-eyed. This life? If he could exceed Rongjun in this life, it would an accomplishment? And this was said by the leader of the Tian Palace. Would he not be able to exceed him? Ever since he acquired the Beast God statue, Luo Feng didn't even place Bolin or Rongjun as his opponents. He thought he was set to exceed them by far. His true opponents were the absolute beings from before. However, the leader, someone of such status, wouldn't speak rubbish. Rongjun had indeed attracted 2 universe country leaders to accept him as their disciple. That weird matter made Luo Feng curious. So the upper echelons favor Rongjun more than me and Bolin? Luo Feng thought. They better look well. I have the Beast God statue to study the first claw, the Masha clan to study the 9 universe tablet, and the earth body to meld the two. I'm already ahead of Rongjun. My return this time, I should be able to exceed Bolin too. And after this time, I will continuously improve, leaving them far behind. Luo Feng's state of mind was incredibly sturdy, even though he valued the leader's words, but to get shaken by it, he wanted to be strong, continuously growing. His improvement speed will only get faster. As for Rongjun, Bolin, it'll just depend on whether they could keep up. Your mental state sure is solid. The leader saw through Luo Feng's eyes and guessed his thoughts. Smiling, the universe is vast and profound. Everyone has their own miraculous meetings and advantages. The 3 of you are not bad. However, at such a young age, your willpower has already reached such levels. It's really not easy. My good friend favors Rongjun. As long as he doesn't fall, he will definitely have accomplishments in the future. However, I'm betting on you. Betting? Luo Feng was stunned. This leader seemed to know some secret about Rongjun, yet he was still betting on himself? Don't let me lose. The leader's eyes were smiling. You actually comprehended the 35 wonders, following which he pointed in mid-air. Formless energy gathered and a stone tablet formed. On it was a picture. The drizzle picture. There were a total of 36 raindrops in it. This 36 wonders. Which one haven't you comprehended yet? The leader said. This one. Luo Feng pointed, and his spirit energy landed on a particular drop. Since we could meet, I'll help you out. The leader waved his hand, and immediately black fireballs with diameters of 100 kilometers immediately floated in the air in the hall. Every one of them were extremely huge and completely black. The surfaces were burning with black flames, and there was a total of 9 of them. The space around the black fireballs seemed to burn and split apart, and the broken space flowed erratically, locked in by the black fireballs. The space further away seemed to warp, almost as though there was some very strong gravity causing the space to get drawn in. Only the space around Luo Feng and the leader was very solid. What's this? Those undyings are able to play with even planets. Just what are these 9 black planets? Luo Feng looked up shocked. Even though it was controlled in this palace, he still felt the temperature rise up to 1,000 degrees. However, this wasn't anything to a universe level 9. However, just the burning temperatures caused the space to split apart, even making the space flow weirdly locked in position. This was definitely thousands to tens of thousands of times more terrifying than a star. I'll completely demonstrate the 36th wonder which you've yet to comprehend. But just once. Whether you can comprehend it will depend on yourself. The leader looked at the 9 black fireballs floating. Immediately they began to move. With one movement, the land and skies vanished. Luo Feng couldn't help but get completely immersed within. The movement of the 9 fireballs completely infused with the universe space laws. The space was completely controlled. At this time, it was even deeper than studying the 9 universe tablet itself. The main reason was that the tablet was but something an absolute warrior of the universe had left behind, and right now, the leader of the Tian Palace was personally demonstrating the 36th wonder. After finishing the demonstration, the 9 black fireballs continued to move about, all the more mysterious. Luo Feng was completely immersed within. Many thoughts and comprehensions occurred in his mind. However, the more he saw, the more he didn't know. He even lost track of time. The 9 black fireballs were already invisible to the naked eye. Only the countless flame marks were left, finally forming a peculiar beast picture. This beast picture was the beast in the 9 universe tablet 7th to 9th pictures, the ones Luo Feng didn't understand. After which, the 9 black fireballs completely vanished and the vast hall returned to normal. The leader looked at Luo Feng, who was immersed in his study, and waved his hand. Luo Feng vanished and appeared in the first level. Within a particular F-grade universe ship's control room, He was still sitting cross-legged and within his study, not even realizing he was already in a ship. Send him off. Don't disrupt his study, the leader communicated. Yes, leader. The leader of the Tian Palace gazed down, almost as though he could see through the many levels. Looking at Luo Feng immersed in his study in the universe ship, laughing lightly, Luo Feng, how much you can comprehend depends on yourself. After which he sat crossed-legged, laughing softly. Such a young age with such powerful willpower. Interesting. Even when I was Domain Lord back then, my willpower wasn't that strong. Everything returned to silence. Tian Palace 9th level was as calm as it had been for the past trillion years. And the F-grade ship brought Luo Feng, who was immersed in his study, and left Tian Palace. Luo Feng's nest, star fragment 80389081. It had a diameter of 6,200 kilometers. This star fragment was floating in space, and on it was a huge villa that took up most of the space, with universe-level soldiers patrolling about. Suddenly, they spotted a universe ship slowly descending. They became shocked and immediately informed their leader AO Duo. General, there's a ship. A ship has come. A silhouette appeared within the villa. It was the bald old man AO Duo. He looked up at the universe ship. From one look, his expression changed. The mark of Tian Palace? It's actually AF-grade universe ship. Follow me. AO Duo brought the 10 guards with him in beams of lights, swiftly flying over. In the distance, that ship descended, landing on the wild grass and flowers. The ship is from Tian Palace. It should be His Majesty returning. But why haven't they opened the cabin door after so long? AO Duo brought the guards and stood beside the ship, waiting at attention. The ship stopped for quite a while before the cabin door opened and landed on the ground. A huge warrior with a huge axe on his back came out, coldly gazing at AO Duo and the group. The formless pressure fiercely landed on AO Duo and the group's souls. Greetings, Undying. AO Duo bowed in shock. Greetings, Undying. The group of guards too were shocked. Luo Feng is studying now. We cannot disrupt him in this critical time. The warrior said coldly. Our Tian Palace ship will be stationed here until he awakens. You all cannot disturb him either. Yes. AO Duo and the group bowed, simultaneously feeling shocked. My God, this pressure that he released before them had ripples of origin laws all around. Obviously, this was a powerful Undying, and Luo Feng was actually able to have an Undying wait here without disturbing him. This was too absurd. Luo Feng was after all an absolute beginning member. His position should still be slightly lower than that of an Undying in Tian Palace. Hua. The cabin door closed and AO Duo and the group could only wait outside. 1 hour, 2 hours. 1 day, 2 days. Why hasn't His Majesty awoken yet? Right, we've been waiting here for quite some time. General, if His Majesty continues his study, should we still wait here stupidly? From what I see, we should return first. Shut up. AO Duo ordered softly. His gaze swept at the guards that had been standing there for 18 days waiting, and said coldly, You are all at universe levels and domain lords. How is this long? Even I'm not complaining. Even the Undying from Tian Palace is waiting, not daring to disrupt his training. And you dare complain? Humph. The muttering guards all immediately went silent. Be silent and wait. If His Majesty awakens, and we are not there to welcome him, that would be our failure. AO Duo ordered. Yes, General. The group of guards obediently complied. Within the ship's control room, Luo Feng sat crossed-legged on the metal ground, not moving. In his mind, many scenes floated in and out. The 9 black fireballs shown to him before by the powerful Tian Palace leader replayed over and over in his mind. Many techniques from the second volume of Time-Space Scribbles too came into play. Many areas that were obscure before were being solved. 9 Universe Tablet, Time-Space Scribbles, Floating Blood Manual, 9 black fireballs, the ancient pictures, the beast god statue. They all corresponded with each other. Plus the fact that he had already comprehended the previous 35 wonders, and a lot of the 36th. With all these working together, many questions he had initially were being solved. His comprehension began to rise and Luo Feng couldn't help but smile. Unknowingly, Luo Feng had completely comprehended the 36th wonder, because the 9 black fireballs kept replaying in his head, displaying the entire space laws over and over. He couldn't help but continue studying and move on to the 9 Universe Tablet's third picture, the rainstorm. Many questions began to form in his head, many hard-to-solve questions. Luo Feng combined the 9 black fireballs, the ancient pictures and compared notes, attacking each difficult question one at a time. using all his focus to solve one question after another. That's it. Luo Feng, who was sitting crossed-legged, opened his eyes. Anymore, and my efficiency will decrease. The best way to study the 9-universe tablet is still the time-space scribbles. I currently only have 2 volumes and not the third. Luo Feng could clearly feel that without the time-space scribbles to tally with, his studying efficiency would have a drastic drop. Time-space scribbles were written by the founder of the 9-universe tablet. It is extremely valuable, and at the same time, it is the optimum way to study the 9-universe tablet. The control room cabin door opened and Luo Feng turned to look out. The huge warrior with the huge axe on his back walked in. He glanced at Luo Feng. Since you've awoken, you can leave now. Thank you, Undying. Luo Feng bowed. This was the leader's command. No need to thank me. The huge warrior didn't say anything more. Luo Feng bowed and swiftly followed the pathway straight out of the cabin door. Greetings, Your Majesty. Ao Duo and the group of guards all bowed as they saw Luo Feng walk out. It had been over 30 days since they waited. Luo Feng jumped down and landed on the grass, simultaneously nodding as he smiled. I've kept you all waiting. Let's go.
Yes.
Ao Duo and the rest respectfully followed. On this star fragment continent, Luo Feng quickly returned to his living quarters. He couldn't wait and immediately entered the Virtual Universe Network. Virtual Universe, Yu Xiang Mountain Absolute Beginning Region, Villa 1136. Luo Feng came to his training grounds. The Tian Palace leader's help this time has saved me at least 2 to 3 years' worth of work, and the display of the 9 black fireballs has shed some light on my later study of the rainstorm picture. Luo Feng recalled the scene back in Tian Palace. He couldn't help but be speechless at the 9 black fireballs. The universe space was very steady, even with the star's high temperature. It wouldn't affect the space at all. However, the black fireballs burning in the space actually messed up the flow of space itself. Its strong gravity caused the space to warp. Luo Feng guessed that even a powerful Undying, if burned by the black fireballs, would be burnt to death. Make light work of something heavy. I shouldn't think so far ahead now. I can't even make 1 star yet. Luo Feng shook his head, after which he cleared his mind and with a thought, the dark golden long rod appeared on his back. I've already completely comprehended the 36 wonders. I don't know whether I can unleash the 6th level though. Nanshan Armament had a total of 9 levels. The 5th Space Slicer, the 6th Own World. From the 5th to the 6th, it was one of the 2 hardest breakthroughs of the 9 levels. 80 years. Over 80 years of hard work, Luo Feng's comprehension had risen greatly. Compared to 80 years ago, it was absurd. However, he was still unable to unleash the 6th level. Nanshan Armament, come out, Luo Feng ordered. Countless gold lights shot out from the dark golden long rod behind him. In an instant, the gold glaring lights of little golden blades shot out. Gold engravings on the little blades formed gold threads, and countless lights moved in the surrounding space, triggering the space laws. Gold laws, and the alloy ground of the training grounds completely vanished into the light. A vast world made of blade energy revolved around. This move could change the land and skies. It was the Nanshan Armament's 6th level. Own world? Luo Feng frowned. His face was flushed red as his consciousness spirit energy madly controlled the blade world's foundation. The 5,832 little golden blades. No. Control. Luo Feng couldn't help but roar. The formed blade world maintained itself for about 3 to 4 seconds, and after which it shook and crumbled with a crash. The blur of 5,832 little golden blades remained floating in the surroundings. However, the blade world was broken. It actually crumbled in a few seconds. Luo Feng smiled and shook his head. It's still okay. This was the first time I actually formed the blade world. After so many years, this is the first time I successfully formed a complete blade world. Since I can form it, the next step should come quickly. Breaking through every level was extremely hard. Just like the Nanshan Armament's 1st level, simply forming 1 golden blade. The second Piercing Sky actually required 9 blades into 1. Why was the difference so huge? Over 80 years. Luo Feng had been constantly improving from the 5th level Space Slicer. His improvement speed was shocking. His encounters too were legendary. Using these 80 years that way, he finally began to feel the entrance of the 6th level's own world. Of course, it was just the entrance. Every level's power was vastly different. Luo Feng's blade world could only be maintained for a few seconds now. It was the most basic stage of forming this 6th level. In theory, the rainstorm picture, when one reached a certain level of comprehension, only then would he be able to unleash blade world. Luo Feng's comprehension of the rainstorm picture was barely even beginning. The March 1st levels of the heavenly bridge reflects the raindrop picture. The 4th to 6th levels reflected the drizzle picture. The 7th to 9th levels reflect the rainstorm picture. Luo Feng frowned. This is a rough gauge. I've comprehended the first 36 wonders. Since my comprehension is 10 times stronger than a normal comprehension of the drizzle picture, that's why I can force out the blade world. However, I can only maintain it for a few seconds. I estimate that I still cannot pass the 7th level of the heavenly bridge. I have to get accustomed to it and maintain for longer periods of time. Luo Feng pondered. And even though I've comprehended the first 36 wonders, studying the rainstorm picture would still be extremely difficult. However, with little bits, I think it'll be pretty fast. If one's basics were solid, the comprehension would be faster. Luo Feng's basics were incredibly solid. Studying the rainstorm picture requires the Time-Space Scribbles 3rd volume. I should buy it now. Luo Feng understood the theory of a sharp blade increasing one's efficiency. He immediately rushed out of the training grounds. He flew into his study. Sitting before the desk, he opened his laptop and swiftly opened the treasure trove, preparing to buy the manual. However, he was shocked as he saw his points below. Points, 74,660. Only over 70k points? Buying the 3rd volume of Time-Space Scribbles requires 100k points. Luo Feng was stunned.